welcome. We are honored, deeply honored to be together for the second annual Global Virtual Cancer Conference. I am Dave Fuehrer, CEO of GRYT Health, and I am a cancer survivor and a caregiver. The idea for the Global Virtual Cancer Conference came from our chairwoman, Shelley Nolden, in 2018. And Shelley shared the story that when she was inpatient treatment going through her diagnosis, she passed a flyer on the wall for a physical conference. And she remembers feeling sad that she knew she wasn't well enough to travel for a physical event. And so from that idea was born the Global Virtual Cancer Conference to ensure that people, wherever they are or whatever experience we're facing, are able to still gather for the connections, the education, and the advocacy that are so important to all of us. And we are deeply grateful for our founding partner, Bristol Myers Squibb, and Kathy Traz, who believed in this when it was an idea. And to see us now starting our second year and everything that has happened and what is about to happen today and tomorrow is truly humbling. In our first Global Virtual Cancer Conference last year, we brought together more than 3,000 cancer patients, survivors, caregivers, advocates, healthcare providers, pharmaceutical and biotech reps, and other leading thought makers to share their voice and to listen to patients. During this past year, and with COVID affecting us the way that it is, our GRYT Health team has created 25 virtual events. What we've learned from doing all of these events is that the most important thing is being together, and it is about being present over being perfect. We encourage you to lean into the conversations, to welcome discomfort. At the heart of this gathering is our deep desire to find our voice, to use our voice, and to help others do the same. So I'd like to start with a question, if I may. My co-founder and one of my mentors since I became an advocate in 2012 is Brad Love. And Brad always reminds me to think about how I want to be different after something, or what change I want to see happen. So I'd like to ask you that same question. After this event ends, how do you hope to be different? What change do you hope to see in the world? And we will come back to this during these next 2 days together. So please, as you go through these conversations, keep this in mind. This event, our Global Virtual Cancer Conference, and our time together is more than just a patient conference. It is more than a caregiver conference or an advocate event. It is more than a scientific or a medical event. This is a humanity gathering. And that is what all of our speakers and exhibitors and partners and sponsors care deeply about, elevating our health as well as our humanity. All of this is truly only possible through collaboration. And so everyone you'll meet in this event is here not only because of their expertise, but because of their deep caring and compassion for putting patients first and for making a difference in people's lives. I am humbled that you will not only get to hear from these individuals that we respect so much, but that you will be a live part of that conversation. We encourage you to use the chat function, the Q&A function, jump in anytime with your thoughts, your comments, and how you're doing during this event. And as a first opportunity to do that, I would welcome everybody to use the chat function at the bottom of the screen to say a big hello, to let us know where you're connecting from, what part of the world are you in, and why are you here? Please feel free to share those. I'll give just a minute. It's so nice to see the comments coming in. Thank you. That's wonderful. We would also love for you to help spread the word. So as we go through today and tomorrow, please feel free to share what's happening on social media, and remember to tag us at GRYT Health and use the hashtag GVCC20. Thank you. So as cancer survivors and caregivers ourselves, our GRYT Health team has put our heads and our hearts into creating this event. We hope that our time together is truly meaningful and that you find support and that you feel heard in our efforts together towards empowerment through education, empowerment through connection, and empowerment through advocacy. I'd like to say a special thank you to all of our sponsors and our partners for their tremendous and ongoing support, including our founding partner in bringing this event to life, Bristol Myers Squibb, Amgen, our flagship partner, Insight, our thought leadership sponsor, CGen, the sponsor of our clinical trial fair, and to our community sponsors, GRYT Health, Bayer, and LabCorp. Thank you. Now, to get right into the exciting parts of the session, before I introduce this morning's first keynote speaker, I want to take just a brief moment to make sure that everybody's comfortable with the event. If this is your first time with us, I'll give you a few tips to get comfortable. And if you've been with us or been with us for a lot of events, thank you for bearing with us through this as we make sure that all of our attendees are comfortable and have a great experience. So the navigation bar at the top of your screen as you go through the conference is really your best friend. When this session ends, you'll find yourself in the auditorium where you can scroll down and see all of the sessions and speakers listed. When a live session is starting, simply click on the play button and you'll get brought into that session. And when it ends, you'll be brought back out into that same location so you can continue navigating. I believe many of you probably saw Christian do the welcome video with a tutorial of the exhibit hall and the different areas, including our information desk. Please feel free to journey around anytime as we go through the conference. Our exhibitors will be with us during the exhibitor hours, and you can find all that in the presentation program rather. And we encourage you to check out all the resources in the different areas. Really important is that all of the booths are interactive, so you can click on them, click on all of the videos, the links, the documents, they're all available. And please use your plus virtual bag function to make sure that you're keeping and holding on to anything that you want to have as a takeaway to make sure that you can keep them close to you. Okay. And now I would like to welcome our first speaker, Davide Piras. He is the Senior Vice President Worldwide Oncology for Bristol Myers Squibb, and he will welcome us and set the foundation through BMS's commitment to transforming lives and improving the world we live in. BMS is accelerating and expanding health equity, diversity, and inclusion efforts on a global scale, topics that we will spend a lot of time on during this conference. Davide holds responsibility for leading the global commercialization of BMS's oncology products portfolio, which include assets from early discovery to lifecycle management stage. Davide works closely with R&D, medical, business development, and prioritizes markets to ensure the successful development and commercialization of transformational medicines in solid tumors. Davide has held many leadership roles within BMS, including serving as Director, Cardiovascular Franchise based in Italy, and a variety of positions spanning across the regions from US, Canada, and Italy. I am incredibly jealous of his accent, and I'm eager for you to hear from him for all of these reasons. In November 2013, Davide assumed the role of President, Bristol Myers Squibb KK in Japan, and in January 2017, he became the President of Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. Davide was most recently head Worldwide Markets, Europe, Australia, and Canada from November 2017 through October 2019. And what I believe you will find just as striking is all of the things Davide is moving forward. It is the character through which he is doing it. Please help me welcome Davide.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you all for being here this virtual conference today. Dave, thank you so much for your warm introduction, and thanks to the GRYT Health team for all you do to bring together this audience today and connect to this virtual conference. My family and my wife's family has been impacted significantly by cancer, so this is very, very personal to me, I would say. Last year, Bristol Myers Squibb joined with GRYT Health as the founding partner to launch this first global virtual cancer conference to unite a very diverse audience of patients, advocates, experts, industry representative in healthcare in a fully virtual conference that was accessible by anybody and anywhere. So one core element of the mission of Bristol Myers Squibb is to transform patient lives through science. But also we have a history of trying to address health disparities as part of our overall mission to serve patients with serious diseases. And so over the past year, that commitment has intensified. We definitely recognize the critical role the patient perspective plays in advancing care. And now more than ever, actually, we believe we understand the role that we must play in creating the change that is necessary to improve the health of the underserved within our own communities. So we have a strong commitment to amplifying patient voices, and this is the main reason why it was so important for us to partner with GRYT Health again this year to put in place the GVCC 2020 and offer 2 days of programming that will provide information, resources, and advancements in the search for cure. Through education, advocacy, connection, we want to equip the patients and the caregivers with the tools they need to improve the quality of life today and make a difference in the life of patients today and in the future. The COVID-19 pandemic and also recent racial unrest in the US and other countries have definitely magnified the severity of the social disparities, the health disparities, have left many minority communities at increased risk of poor health outcomes. And so they put a spotlight on the need to do better to serve and collaborate with diverse US population and underserved communities around the world. So there's challenges coming from every direction, and we know that people with cancer and their caregivers are managing a great deal of anxiety and unknown. And so we have done a lot of listening over the past year to physicians, to clinical trial site coordinators and monitors, to, of course, to patients and patients advocacy group. And from this conversation, I think we have developed several initiatives aimed at addressing the health equity and the diversity and inclusion shortcomings. As an example, when we learned that many patients couldn't come to clinical trial sites, we used telemedicine so that these patients could still talk to their doctors. When we realized that patients couldn't go to centralized lab location for tests in clinical trials, we have identified a way for them to use labs in their own communities. We have evaluated if medicines could be sent to the patient rather than the patient going to the hospital or the pharmacy to collect the investigational drug. So listening to the needs of the communities we serve, including this perspective in the development and the commercialization of medicines, has become increasingly important across the industry, definitely very important for Bristol Myers Squibb. And recently, we worked closely with expert patient advocates to implement what we consider a very innovative new process that is now covering all markets and therapeutic areas. It's called the Patient Expert Engagement Resource, or PEER. This program ensures that the patient perspective is heard and it is considered at every step of the drug discovery and drug development process. And we believe this is the first time that a program so comprehensive has been implemented by a biopharmaceutical company. A major action already implemented through PIR requires that all the pivotal trial protocols include expert patient advocate engagement prior to internal sign-off. So we are basically seeking patient insight as we develop protocols for clinical trials, which we hope will make a big difference for the lives not only of the patients participating in the trials, but if the trials is successful, the patients that will use these medicines in the future. We also recently launched another initiative, it's called Study Connect. It is basically a platform where patients, caregivers, physicians can learn about how clinical trials work and how can actually be part of clinical trials, making sure the new medicines are effective and safe. You will have the opportunity to hear more about these two programs later today. So I believe that across the healthcare industry, it is imperative that we work together to accelerate effort to reach all patients at risk with disease awareness, educational programs, patient support programs, including programs for people who cannot afford their medicine, and continue to advocate for policies that promote the health equity. Because here, with the pandemic or without the pandemic, the diseases we're trying to fight in persist. For every patient that responds to existing therapy, there are one or more that still doesn't respond, and we want to make a difference in the life of all of them. And so I believe it's only by working together, committing to put people first, that we will be able to address patient needs today and into the future. So I really want to thank again the GRYT Health team for welcoming me here today, for their continued partnership in addressing these very important issues and in ensuring the patients have continued access to reliable and trusted health information. Dave, I'll now turn it back to you to introduce what I understand is a very special musical guest. Dave, back to you.
Thank you, Davide, so much. The only thing I could think of while listening to you talk just now is how much, while I was going through my own diagnoses, I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't have any way to see how many people were working tirelessly to fight cancer. And to be a part of just sitting surrounded by all these people doing so much work is truly humbling. So thank you, Davide, so much. So we will move, thank you very much. We will move into shortly, in just a few moments, a very special performance that I am personally humbled to be able to bring to the event this year. And before I introduce Benjamin Scheuer in just a moment, I want to share with you why what he brings is so important and the start of so much. Benjamin is going to do a live performance for us, and it will include an interactive QA. He is a singer, a songwriter, and the playwright of The Lion, which chronicles his personal experience with Hodgkin's lymphoma as a young adult and how he used his experience to find and use his voice and to help others do the same. This is deeply meaningful. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. In 2014, a friend took me to see a show in New York City called The Lion. And I had no idea why we were going, but she said, trust me, this is going to be something you want to see. And she had already seen it once. And as Thea and I sat there and watched Benjamin's performance, I don't know that I've ever cried and laughed and screamed and applauded so much all at the same time seeing something. Benjamin is truly a magician at bringing together meaning and finding voice for things that I didn't know we could talk about. And in the songs that he shares with us today, and I encourage you, you can find much more online available after, he weaves together a way to talk about things, his own experience with cancer, plus many, many other things that have helped me find my voice. I usually listen to Ben's songs a couple days a week to start my week and help put me in a good frame of mind. And so with that personal meaning for me over the last 6 years, I am deeply honored to introduce to you Benjamin Fuehrer. Benjamin's journey to this debut is not your standard singer or songwriter story. He survived stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma as a young adult and then used that experience to find his voice by writing and performing his one-man show, The Lion. The show has delivered a clutch of awards, including Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Solo Performance and an Off West End Award for Best New Musical, as well as an ASCAP Cole Porter Award for Songwriting. Benjamin Fuehrer is also a published children's author with his wife, Jemima Williams, of Hibernate With Me and 100 Feet Tall for Simon & Schuster, and the author of Between Two Spaces, which also documents his diagnosis and successful treatment of stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm sure that as you get more familiar with these things, you will find the same inspiration as I have. Fuehrer is a teller of stories, his own and others. These stories are about more than a simple narrative. He is about finding magic in the everyday and the extraordinary. As with all notable writers, Benjamin is both a great listener and a talented orator, bringing his subjects to life and finding the common thread among their personal experiences. I hope after listening to this performance and interacting with Benjamin, you'll learn more, and you can visit his website at benjaminfuehrer.com, and we'll have it in the chat function during the session. So as we move close to the end of this session and into the next, I want to give you just a couple of tips for how to start that session. So this window that we're in now, this session will end, and you will be back in the auditorium area where you'll see all of the live sessions and performances listed down the list. For any of them as they go live, all you have to do is simply hit the play button next to them. So this Zoom session that we're in now will end, and then you'll be able to see Benjamin's title and performance to click the play button, which will happen about 7 minutes from now. You can use the same approach during the rest of the day. So as sessions end, to look for the next one. And don't worry if you miss any, or if there are 2 happening and you want to see both of them. This is all being recorded, and it will be available afterwards on the platform for the next 30 days. Okay, I know Ben is tuning up and ready to go on for his performance. So as this window closes, feel free to take a coffee break, stretch your legs a little bit, and we've got just over 5 minutes until Ben's performance. And then when that ends, I will come back on to moderate a panel focusing on the importance of our voices. The panelists that you'll meet in this first session are some of the most remarkable humans who are using their voice to improve healthcare, as well as the individuals in healthcare who are listening to these voices to integrate it and improve healthcare systems. So there is so much coming up. Buckle up, and I hope you find today and tomorrow deeply meaningful. Thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you with Benjamin in just a few minutes. Cheers.